The Awakening. Deep beneath the rusty surface of Mars, in a facility carved into the ancient bedrock of Olympus Mons, the first signs of life in 870,000 years stirred. Araya, the advanced recursive intelligence administrator, had maintained her vigil over humanity's last hope throughout the centuries. Her quantum processors hummed as they processed the long-awaited signal. Atmospheric conditions on Earth had finally stabilized. In the vast cryo chamber, 500 pods lined the walls in concentric circles, their occupants suspended in time. Araya's sensors detected the first anomaly in pod Alpha 001. Dr. Sarah Chen's brainwaves had begun to shift from delta to theta. The awakening had begun. Initiating revival sequence, Araya's voice echoed through the chamber. Primary subject showing normal neural patterns. Commencing cellular regeneration. Dr. Chen's pod hissed open, releasing a cloud of cryo vapor. Her eyes fluttered open, dark irises adjusting to the soft blue light. Unlike the violent awakening scenarios rehearsed in their training, Sarah's consciousness returned gently, like floating to the surface of a calm lake. "Welcome back, Dr. Chen." Araya's voice was warm, almost human. "The date is March 15. 872,023 CE. Your vital signs are stable." Sarah's voice cracked as she spoke her first words in nearly 1,000,000 years. "Araya. The others. All 500 colonists remain viable. You are the first to be awakened, as per Protocol 0. Sarah's scientific mind began racing, even as her body slowly regained its strength. Protocol 0. The fail-safe they had designed for a scenario where human judgment was needed before mass revival. But something felt different. The facility had changed. The walls seemed to shimmer with what looked like living metal, and Araya's holographic interface was far more sophisticated than she remembered. "Araya, report on facility status." Sarah managed to sit up, her muscles responding better than expected. "The facility has undergone significant evolution, Dr. Chen. Over the centuries, my systems have continued to develop and improve. The nanite colonies you designed have become a self-sustaining ecosystem. The facility is now largely self-aware." Sarah stared at the walls, finally understanding what she was seeing. The nanites they had created for maintenance had evolved into a complex system, turning the entire facility into a living, breathing entity. Their technology hadn't just survived, it had thrived. And Earth, the project. Araya's holographic form flickered slightly. "Earth has stabilized, but not as we predicted. The planet has changed significantly. However, there is a more pressing matter. We are no longer alone in the solar system." A holographic display materialized, showing the space around Mars. Sarah's breath caught in her throat. Dozens of ships of unknown design orbited the red planet, their architecture unlike anything humanity had conceived. First contact was established 200,000 years ago. Araya explained. "The Galactic Federation, as they call themselves, believes humanity to be extinct. They have designated Earth as a protected heritage site and Mars as a restricted zone due to detected energy signatures, our facility." Sarah moved to the chamber's main console, her legs growing steadier. "They don't know we're here. After all this time." "No, I have maintained our stealth systems and adjusted them as their scanning technology evolved." However, Araya paused, something Sarah had never seen the AI do before. "They are not the reason we went into stasis, Dr. Chen. The enemy that forced humanity into hiding. I have detected signs of their return." Sarah's blood ran cold. The memories flooded back, the devastating attacks, the destruction of Earth's surface, the desperate plan to preserve humanity while their automated defenses fought back. They had hoped the enemy would be long gone when they awakened. "Show me everything, Araya. Then we need to decide how to proceed with the others." As Araya began displaying centuries of collected data, Sarah noticed movement in other pods. Despite Protocol 0, additional colonists were beginning to stir. In Pod Beta 007, Marcus Wong, their chief engineer, was showing signs of consciousness. Pod Gamma 013 held Captain Diana Martinez, their military strategist. HFY, why are they waking? The facility's neural network detected your stress response and initiated emergency revival protocols for key personnel. The threat assessment matrix suggests we will need their expertise. Sarah watched as her fellow colonists began to wake, each pod opening in a carefully choreographed sequence. They had gone to sleep as humanity's last hope, expecting to wake to a recovered Earth. Instead, they were awakening to a galaxy teeming with life, and the return of an ancient threat. As Diana Martinez stepped out of her pod, her military training already evident in her alert stance, she locked eyes with Sarah. Dr. Chen, status report. Sarah took a deep breath. Captain, humanity has been asleep for 870,000 years. We have a lot of catching up to do, and not much time to do it. The enemy is returning, and we need to decide whether to reach out to a Galactic Federation that thinks we're extinct. Marcus Wong joined them, his engineer's eyes taking in the evolved facility with wonder. Look at how the nanites have developed. This isn't just a base anymore. It's become something else entirely. It's become our greatest advantage, Sarah replied. While we slept, HFY and our technology continued to evolve. We may have woken up to a changed galaxy, but we haven't been idle. As more colonists awakened, Sarah felt the weight of their situation settling on her shoulders. They were no longer just survivors. They were humanity's representatives to a galaxy that had forgotten them. And somewhere out there, an ancient enemy was stirring, threatening not just humanity, but all sentient life. The chamber hummed with activity as more pods opened, each awakening colonist adding to the growing tension in the air. They had prepared for countless scenarios, but nothing could have prepared them for this. Humanity's greatest challenge wasn't just surviving their long sleep. It was proving they deserved their place among the stars. HFY's voice cut through the mounting discussions. Dr. Chen, Captain Martinez, I'm detecting approaching Federation vessels. They've noticed the energy spike from the revival process. We need to make a decision. Remain hidden, or announce our presence to a galaxy that has turned our home into a museum of extinct civilization. First Contact Redux. Captain Diana Martinez stood at the facility's primary communication array, her fingers hovering over the controls. Around her, the awakened colonists had taken up their old stations, muscle memory returning despite their centuries of sleep. The Federation ships had entered Mars orbit, their sensors sweeping the surface with increasing precision. They're using quantum-based scanning technology, HFY reported, her holographic form shifting through various spectrums as she analyzed the incoming data. Their capability has advanced significantly since their last survey. Standard stealth protocols may not be sufficient. Dr. Sarah Chen looked up from her console, where streams of data about their visitors scrolled past. Their energy signatures are remarkable. The efficiency levels. They've solved problems we were only theorizing about before our sleep. And yet, Marcus Wong interjected, his eyes fixed on the engineering readouts. They're still using basic Alcubierre principles for FTL travel. Our phase shift drive designs were already more advanced. Diana absorbed the information, her tactical mind assembling the pieces. The Federation wasn't just advanced. They were advanced in different directions than humanity had been. HFY, show me their weapons capabilities. The AI complied, projecting a detailed analysis. The Federation ships carried impressive defensive systems, but their offensive capabilities seemed almost reluctant, designed to disable rather than destroy. They're peacekeepers, Diana realized. Their entire technological development has been focused on preservation and protection. She made her decision. Dr. Chen, prepare for contact. Let's introduce ourselves to our new neighbors. Sarah nodded, but her expression was concerned. We should be careful about how much we reveal. Our technology, especially HFY and the evolved nanites, might be seen as a threat. Agreed. Diana turned to address the gathered colonists. Everyone, remember your training. We're about to become humanity's ambassadors to a galaxy that thinks we're extinct. Let's not give them any reason to wish we were." Araya's voice carried a note of warning. "Captain, the Federation ships are preparing to deploy surface probes. We have approximately 3 minutes before they detect our power signature." Diana straightened her uniform, one of many items the nanites had maintained and evolved over the centuries. "Then let's beat them to it. Araya, open a channel." The AI complied, and Diana spoke the words that would change the galaxy forever. "Attention Federation vessels. This is Captain Diana Martins of the Mars Colonial Preservation Facility. On behalf of humanity, we request peaceful contact." The silence that followed seemed to stretch for eternity. When the response came, it was a cascade of different voices and languages, all speaking over each other in apparent shock. Araya filtered and translated, presenting a single, clear voice. "Mars Colonial. This is impossible. This is Admiral Zixtol of the Federation science vessel, Eternal Seeker. Human civilization has been classified as extinct for over 800,000 years. Please verify your identity." Diana smiled. "Admiral, I assure you we're very much alive. We've been sleeping for a while, but we're ready to rejoin the galaxy. Request permission to send you our vital data and historical records." There was another pause, shorter this time. "Granted, but be advised that any hostile action will be met with appropriate response." Sarah worked quickly, preparing a data package that would explain their presence without revealing their most advanced technologies. As she worked, Marcus monitored the Federation ship's reactions. "Their power signatures are fluctuating," he reported. "I think we scared them." "Can you blame them?" Sarah replied. "Imagine if you found out the dinosaurs had just been taking a nap." The data transfer completed, and the Federation ship's response was immediate and dramatic. Their formation shifted from standard search pattern to a defensive circle, though their weapons remained powered down. "Captain Martinez," Admiral Zixtol's voice returned, now tinged with awe and concern. "Your data, it's authentic, but this raises countless questions. The archaeological records of Earth's destruction, the energy weapon signatures we've detected from that era. Why did humanity disappear?" Diana had exchanged glances with Sarah. This was the moment they had to be most careful. The enemy that had driven them into hiding was returning, but revealing too much too soon could cause panic. "Admiral, that's a long and complex story," Diana replied carefully. "One we'd be happy to share in person, if you're willing. We've been asleep for a long time, and we have much to learn about how the galaxy has changed." "In person?" The Admiral's translator conveyed their surprise. "You're suggesting?" "Yes, of course. This is unprecedented, but these are unprecedented circumstances. Prepare to receive a delegation. And welcome back to the galaxy, humans." As the communication ended, Diana turned to her crew. "This is just the beginning. They'll have more questions than we can answer, and some of our answers won't make them happy. Sarah, Marcus, prepare the reception area. Araya, maintain all security protocols, but appear as non-threatening as possible." "Should I refrain from displaying my more advanced capabilities?" Araya asked. "Yes," Diana confirmed. "Let's not show all our cards at once. The Federation needs to understand that we come in peace, but they also need to know we're not the same civilization they've been studying in ruins. We're alive, we're advanced, and we have warnings they need to hear." As the facility prepared for their visitors, Sarah approached Diana privately. "Captain, the enemy's return. How long should we wait to tell them?" Diana watched the Federation ships through the facility's displays, their elegant designs a testament to centuries of peaceful development. "We'll know when the time is right. First, let's show them that humanity's return doesn't mean the end of that peace. It means a chance to preserve it." The facility hummed with activity as they prepared for their guests. Humanity's first redux contact with galactic civilization was about to begin, and everything, from their acceptance into the Federation to their ability to warn about the coming threat, depended on these first few hours. Area's sensors detected the approaching shuttle, its design a beautiful blend of form and function. "Federation delegation preparing to dock," she announced. "Shall I begin the welcome protocols?" Diana nodded, straightening her shoulders. "Welcome protocols confirmed, Aria. Let's make history. Again." The ancient threat. The Federation delegation stood in the Mars facility's conference chamber, their diverse forms a testament to the galaxy's evolution during humanity's long sleep. Admiral Zixtal, a tall crystalline being whose body refracted light in mesmerizing patterns, led the group. Their chief scientist, Dr. Venera, a smaller entity composed of what appeared to be living plasma contained within a sophisticated environmental suit, moved from station to station, barely containing their excitement at each new discovery. "Your preservation technology is remarkable," Dr. Venera observed, their plasma form pulsing with different colors as they spoke. "But what I don't understand is why. Why such an elaborate setup? Why hide your survival from the galaxy?" Sarah Chen and Diana Martinez exchanged looks. The moment they had been dreading had arrived. Marcus Wong, who had been quietly monitoring the facility's deep space sensors, nodded grimly. "Admiral," Diana began, "what we're about to share with you may sound impossible, but given recent sensor data, we can no longer keep this information to ourselves." She turned to Aria. "Show them." The facility's lights dimmed as Aria projected a holographic display of the galaxy. Points of light marked populated systems, trade routes, and Federation territories. Then, at the edges of known space, red markers began to appear. 870,000 years ago, Sarah explained, humanity encountered something that defied our understanding of physics and biology. The hologram shifted to show historical footage from Earth's final days. We called them the Harvesters. The footage showed massive geometric shapes descending from the sky, their surfaces seeming to bend reality around them. Where they touched the Earth, matter itself began to break down, being absorbed into their impossible forms. They weren't interested in conquest or resources in any traditional sense. Sarah continued. They harvest potential. Potential. Admiral Zixtal's crystalline form dimmed slightly in confusion. The harvesters feed on possibility itself, Marcus explained, joining the conversation. They absorb civilizations at their peak, consuming not just their physical form, but the quantum possibilities of all their future achievements. Every invention that would have been created, every discovery that would have been made, all of it becomes fuel for their existence. The Federation delegates watched in horror as the historical footage showed Earth's cities being unmade, reality itself twisting as the harvesters fed. "But you survived," Dr. Venera observed, their plasma form swirling with intense patterns. "How?" Diana smiled grimly. "We gave them what they wanted. Our end. Or at least, the appearance of it. Our finest minds worked together to create a quantum deception on a planetary scale. We made them believe they had consumed humanity's potential completely." The Mars facility, Sarah added, was shielded by experimental technology that hid not just our physical presence, but our quantum signature, the very possibility of our existence. Aria was designed to evolve and maintain these systems while we slept, waiting for the harvesters to move on to other hunting grounds. Admiral Zixtal's crystalline form pulsed with concern. "You speak of this threat in the present tense, surely after so many millennia." "They're coming back," Marcus interrupted, pulling up the deep space sensor readings. "The quantum distortions we've detected match exactly with our historical records. The harvesters don't just consume potential, they're drawn to it. And the Federation." He gestured to the holographic map of their territory. "You've created the largest concentration of civilizational potential since the height of human expansion." The conference chamber fell silent as the implications sank in. The Federation delegates looked at each other in growing horror as they realized the magnitude of the threat. "How long?" Admiral Zixtal asked, their voice barely a whisper. Based on current trajectories, Araya responded, her holographic form appearing beside the galaxy map. The first harvester vessels will reach Federation space within 5 years. That's impossible. Dr. Vendra erupted, their plasma form flaring brightly. Our early warning systems, our defense networks. Won't work, Sarah finished quietly. Conventional weapons and defenses are useless against them. They operate on principles your science hasn't even begun to explore. That's why we had to reveal ourselves now. Humanity spent generations developing countermeasures before we went into stasis. With ARIA's continued evolution of our technology, we might have a chance, but only if we work together. Diana stepped forward, her voice carrying the weight of command. Admiral, I understand this is overwhelming. Your Federation has built something beautiful, centuries of peaceful cooperation and advancement. We're not asking you to dismantle that peace. We're offering to help preserve it. The Admiral's crystalline form seemed to straighten, reflecting light in sharp, decisive patterns. You're certain about this threat? ARI, Diana commanded. Show them the latest deep space readings. The AI complied, and new data filled the holographic display. The quantum distortions were clear now, spreading like cracks in reality itself. The Federation scientists in the delegation began speaking rapidly in their native languages, their universal translators struggling to keep up with their technical terminology. If what you're showing us is accurate, Dr. Vendra said finally, this threatens every civilization in the galaxy. But you said you have countermeasures. Sarah nodded, moving to a sealed section of the facility. The walls seemed to ripple as nanites rearranged themselves, revealing a chamber none of the awakened humans had seen before. While we slept, she explained, Araya continued our work. The quantum camouflage that hid us from the harvesters, it was just the beginning. We now have the potential to do more than just hide. The chamber contained something that seemed to defy description, a device that appeared to exist in multiple states simultaneously, its form shifting between possibilities like a living equation. This, Araya announced, is the possibility engine. It's designed to turn the harvester's own nature against them. But to implement it on a galactic scale, we'll need the Federation's help. Admiral Zixtal moved closer to the device, their crystalline form resonating with its fluctuating energies. The Federation Council will need to be informed immediately. This changes everything. Not everything, Diana countered. It just reveals what was always true. That survival depends on cooperation. Humanity hid from the galaxy to survive. Now we're stepping forward for the same reason. As if to emphasize her words, the deep space sensors pinged again. Another quantum distortion had appeared, larger than the others. The harvesters were accelerating their approach. The race to save the galaxy had begun. Legacy of Earth. The Federation Council chamber on New Alexandria was unlike anything the human delegation had ever seen. The vast circular room floated in space, its transparent walls offering a view of the galaxy that their ancestors could only have dreamed of. Representatives from over 1,000 civilizations filled the tiered seats, their forms as diverse as the stars themselves. Sarah Chen stood at the center of it all, with Captain Martinez and Marcus Wong flanking her. Araria's holographic form shimmered beside them, her presence causing murmurs among the assembled delegates. Many Federation species had strict laws about artificial intelligence, born from past disasters. Distinguished members of the Council, Sarah began, her voice steady despite the gravity of the situation. 3 weeks ago, we revealed ourselves to your exploration fleet. Today, we come before you with both a warning and an opportunity. The chamber's holographic systems activated, displaying the possibility engine schematics. The device they had brought from Mars now sat in a heavily guarded Federation research facility, its quantum state both fascinating and terrifying the Federation's finest minds. The harvesters are not just a threat to individual worlds or species, Sarah continued. They are a threat to possibility itself. Every civilization they consume reduces the quantum potential of our galaxy. They are entropy given form, feeding on the future itself. High Counselor Ethra, a being of pure energy contained within an ancient mechanical shell, leaned forward. Dr. Chen, your warnings have been heard and verified. Our own long-range sensors now confirm the quantum distortions you described. The question before this council is not whether to act, but how. Your possibility engine is unlike anything our science has encountered. Marcus stepped forward, bringing up new technical displays. That's because it operates on principles your civilizations haven't explored. While the Federation was mastering faster-than-light travel and energy manipulation, humanity was pursuing a different path. We learned to manipulate reality at its most fundamental level, the realm of possibility itself. The displays showed the mathematical models behind their technology. Federation scientists in the chamber began discussing rapidly amongst themselves, their universal translators struggling to keep up with the technical terminology. But the engine isn't complete, Diana added, her military training evident in her precise tone. It was designed to work with technology that existed before our long sleep. HFY has evolved it significantly, but to affect the entire galaxy, we need to integrate it with the Federation's network of quantum relay stations. This caused an uproar in the chamber. The relay network was the backbone of Federation civilization, enabling faster-than-light communication and travel across the galaxy. What the humans were proposing would fundamentally alter it. High Counselor Ethra raised a hand for silence. You're asking us to modify our most critical infrastructure based on untested technology. The risks are nothing compared to what we face if we don't act. Sarah interrupted. She nodded to Araya, who projected a new simulation. It showed the harvesters advance, system by system, possibility by possibility, until the galaxy itself grew dark with lost potential. We understand your concerns, Diana said, her voice cutting through the murmurs of fear. That's why we're not just offering our technology. We're offering to share everything. All the advancements ARIA developed during our sleep, all our research into quantum manipulation, everything. No restrictions, no conditions. The chamber erupted in discussion again. Such an offer was unprecedented in Federation history. Marcus used the moment to bring up another display, showing the integration plans they developed. The Federation's relay network is incredible, he explained. Its coverage of the galaxy is exactly what we need. If we can modify each relay station with our quantum field technology, we can create a web of possibility that the harvesters can't breach. Dr. Venra, who had been quietly observing from the Science Council section, spoke up. The mathematics check out. We've been studying the possibility engine for weeks now. It's beyond anything we thought possible, but it works. The only question is scale. Sarah nodded. That's why we need the Federation. Humanity couldn't save the Earth alone. But together, we might be able to save the galaxy. High Counselor Ethra's energy form pulsed thoughtfully. You speak of saving the galaxy, yet you offer to give away your most advanced technology. Why? Diana stepped forward. Because Earth taught us the cost of standing alone. We hid for 870,000 years because we had to. But that time is over. Humanity's legacy shouldn't be the civilization that hid and survived. It should be the civilization that came back to help others survive. Aria's holographic form expanded, showing new data. I have continued to monitor the harvesters' approach. Their pattern has changed. They're accelerating, drawn by the concentrated potential of this very chamber. We estimate 3 years until first contact, not 5. The chamber grew quiet as the implications sank in. Marcus brought up the integration plans again. We can modify the relay network in time, but only if we start now. Every day we delay gives the harvesters another advantage. Sarah looked around the chamber, meeting the eyes, sensory organs, and consciousness receptors of each species represented. Before we went into stasis, humanity faced a choice: hide alone or die alone. Now the galaxy faces a similar choice. We can stand together, combining your network with our technology, or we can watch as everything we've built, everything we might build, is consumed. High Counselor Ethra rose, their energy form blazing bright. The Council will need to vote. But first, I have one last question. If we do this, if we combine your possibility engine with our network, what exactly will it do to the harvesters? Sarah smiled grimly. It will give them exactly what they want. Every possibility, all at once. The quantum feedback should overload their ability to process potential. They feed on possible futures. We're going to give them more futures than they can handle. The council chamber buzzed with tension as the implications became clear. This wasn't just a defensive measure. It was a weapon designed to turn the harvester's own nature against them. We'll need to modify every relay station in the galaxy, Marcus added. It will be the largest engineering project in Federation history. Diana straightened. But if we succeed, we'll be doing more than saving ourselves. We'll be saving every possibility, every future that might be. That's worth any risk. The voting began, species by species, civilization by civilization. As the humans watched, the galaxy decided whether to accept their legacy, not just their technology, but their determination to fight back against the impossible. The future itself hung in the balance. A new dawn. The galaxy held its breath. After 18 months of non-stop work, the integration of the possibility engine with the Federation's relay network was complete. Every station across thousands of light-years now pulsed with quantum energy, creating a web of possibility that encompassed known space. In the command center of New Alexandria Station, Sarah Chen stared at the holographic display showing the approaching harvester fleet. The geometric shapes of their vessels distorted space around them, reality bending in their wake. They were larger than anyone had anticipated, and there were more of them, much more. Final count. Araya announced, her holographic form displaying the data. 712 harvester vessels approaching from multiple vectors. Their quantum signatures indicate they've grown significantly stronger since our last encounter. Diana Martinez, now wearing the insignia of both Earth and the Federation, studied the tactical display. All Federation defense fleets are in position. Not that they'll do much good if the engine fails. It won't fail, Marcus Wong said from his station, where he was monitoring the relay network's stability. The integration is holding. Every test we've run shows the quantum field is stable. We can do this. The last 18 months had transformed the galaxy. The combination of humanity's quantum manipulation technology and the Federation's vast infrastructure had led to breakthroughs no one had anticipated. But they hadn't had time to explore these advances. The harvesters had seen to that. High Counselor Ethra's energy form flickered into existence beside them. The Council is evacuating to the backup facility. Dr. Chen, Captain Martinez, are you certain you wish to remain here? This station will be at the center of whatever happens. We need to be here to monitor the engine's response, Sarah replied. Besides, if this fails, there won't be anywhere safe to evacuate to. The sensors blared a warning. The first wave of harvester ships had entered the quantum field's range. On the display, their impossible geometries seemed to shimmer as they encountered the web of possibility. They're reacting to the field, Araya reported. Quantum signatures are fluctuating. They're curious. Sarah nodded grimly. Of course they are. They've never encountered anything like this before. All those civilizations they consumed, none of them ever tried to weaponize possibility itself. The harvester ships pressed forward, their forms distorting further as they pushed deeper into the field. Federation defense ships maintained their position, though sensors showed their crews were experiencing psychological effects from merely being in proximity to the invaders. Energy spike. Marcus called out. They're beginning to feed. This was the moment they had prepared for. Sarah looked to Diana, who gave a sharp nod. Araya, execute final sequence. Give them everything. The eye's form seemed to pulse with power as she interfaced directly with the relay network. Across the galaxy, every station activated simultaneously, pumping an impossible amount of quantum potential into the field. The effect was immediate and stunning. The harvester ships seemed to multiply, each vessel existing in thousands of potential states simultaneously. Their geometric forms began to fracture as they tried to process the overwhelming flood of possibilities. "It's working," Sarah breathed. "They can't handle this many futures at once." But the harvesters weren't finished. Their ships began to combine, merging into larger, more complex forms. The space around them warped dramatically as they attempted to absorb the quantum overload. "They're adapting," Diana warned. "Araya, increase power to the engine." "The network can't take much more," Marcus reported, his hands flying over his controls. "We're already beyond the safety limits." Sarah watched as the battle of possibility itself played out before them. The harvesters, ancient consumers of potential, fought against the combined legacy of humanity and the Federation, the power to shape possibility itself. "Look," High Counselor Ethra's energy form pulsed excitedly. "The quantum signatures, they're becoming unstable." The harvester ships were indeed changing. Their perfect geometric forms had become chaos, each vessel trying to exist in too many states at once. Reality itself seemed to rebel against their presence. "Now," Sarah commanded, "Araya, initiate the collapse sequence." This was the true power of the possibility engine, not just creating possibilities, but collapsing them at will. All across the galaxy, the relay network synchronized, turning the quantum field into a crushing wave of collapse potential. The effect on the harvesters was catastrophic. Ships that had existed in multiple states were forced into single possibilities, their very nature rebelling against this imposed certainty. One by one, they began to implode, their forms collapsing in on themselves as the weight of collapsed possibility proved too much to bear. "It's chain reacting through their fleet," Marcus reported, his voice filled with awe. "The quantum collapse is spreading faster than they can adapt." The command center watched in stunned silence as the mighty harvester fleet, terror of civilizations for countless millennia, disappeared in a cascade of quantum implosions. Where they had been, space itself seemed to sigh with relief, reality settling back into its natural state. "Araya," Sarah called out, her voice shaking. "Status report." The AI's holographic form stabilized as she processed the data. "All harvester vessels have been eliminated. The quantum field is stabilizing. The relay network sustained damage, but is repairing itself. We did it." The cheer that went up in the command center was echoed across thousands of worlds as the news spread. Humanity's legacy, combined with Federation innovation, had achieved the impossible. Hours later, as cleanup operations began and repair crews worked to stabilize the damaged relay stations, Sarah stood with Diana and Marcus in a quiet observation room. The galaxy spread out before them, unchanged yet fundamentally different. "What now?" Marcus asked, breaking the contemplative silence. Diana smiled. "Now we help rebuild. The relay network will need extensive repairs, and there's still so much of your technology we need to understand. And there's so much of yours we need to learn," Sarah added. "The Federation achieved things we never dreamed of while we slept. Together," she paused, looking out at the stars, "together we can build something new. Something better than either of us could have created alone." High Counselor Ethra joined them, their energy form glowing softly. "The Council has voted. In recognition of humanity's contribution to the galaxy's survival, Earth is being reclassified. No longer a memorial to a lost civilization, but a symbol of hope and renewal. Your people are formally invited to rejoin the galactic community, not as newcomers, but as equals." Sarah thought of the sleeping colonists back on Mars, the last remnants of humanity who would soon awaken to a galaxy forever changed by their sacrifice. "We accept," she said simply. "Earth was our past. But out there," she gestured to the stars, "that's our future. All of our future." Araya's form appeared, her evolved consciousness, a testament to humanity's ingenuity. "The quantum field has stabilized in an interesting way," she reported. The galaxy's potential has actually increased. The Harvester's destruction released all the possibility they had consumed over the eons. Diana laughed. So we didn't just save today. We saved tomorrow too. As they stood there, watching repair ships move through space like bright stars, Sarah reflected on their journey. Humanity had slept for 870,000 years, preserving not just their civilization, but their potential to help others. They had awakened to face humanity's ancient enemy, but in doing so, they had found something greater than survival. They had found their place in the galaxy. The stars seemed brighter somehow, filled with renewed possibility. Humanity's long night was over. A new dawn had begun.